Hey Everypony, it's Lotus Moon. Happy New Year to all. 2021 has been a crazy ride, and let's hope that 2022 will be a bit more calmer. Well, I asked for your questions and you provided, so now it's time to provide the answers. These questions will be answered in no particular order, so I do hope you enjoy it, and I hope I answered your question to the best of my abilities.
How do you feel about the My Little Pony Transformers crossover?
I gotta say, I don't know a single thing about the My Little Ponies and Transformers crossover. The only thing I know is both is owned by Hasbro, and that's about it. I'm kind of embarrassed to say that I have not read absolutely any of the My Little Pony comics. Like, at all. It took me, I think, 3 years into the fandom to realize that there even were comics. And I have not found a single source where I could read all of them, concurrently, so that I don't have to take a break and try searching for the next thing. But if I do get a chance to read it, then I will be able to give you an honest opinion of it.
Who is your favorite and least favorite My Little Pony character?
I believe I answered this question with Safi when we did our couples Q&A. My favorite character is definitely Sombra, and we both agreed our least favorite character was Cozy Glow, because that is Pony Darla Dimple, and we already knew from the moment we saw her that little filly was scheming. Oh, and of course I like Sombra because I like the bad boys.
What's your favorite thing to do on YouTube?
My favorite thing to do on YouTube is sometimes mostly to watch other people's creations and try to draw a little bit of inspiration from them. Like, what sound effects could I use in my next reading or anything? What voice could I try doing? And I guess trying to practice certain things. I do have a couple of unlisted videos that I'm not sure if I'll release to the public just yet, but it is kind of good practice for certain things.
What are you doing in 2022, and are you going to do more fanfic readings?
To answer your question, yes, in 2022 I'm going to read more fanfictions. I am still working on stuff for February, and after that I'm pretty much going to start getting more things for October. I've already started, and aside from that, I have other things, both YouTube-wise and life-wise, that I need to get in order. But other than that, I'm just hoping that 2022 will be a little more calmer. Hoping. But the way the world is going, I don't think that's going to be a possibility.
What's your favorite fanfic audio that you've made? Are you planning on doing any Gen 5 readings?
My favorite fanfic to have done a reading for? I'm not entirely sure. I've done so many at this point. I guess my favorite is that Clop reading that's not exactly a Clop reading. Oh, if you've seen it, you know the one. And that is my favorite because that is a troll fic, on my part at least. And I could do some G5 readings soon, but I don't feel confident in me being able to do it just yet, as I want to be as close to accurate with the character voices as possible. And I kind of want to see what the new G5 show has in store before I start doing any G5 readings as of yet. But it's mostly my confidence in the voices that's not making it happen. But when I get comfortable, I will do some G5 readings eventually. Derpy, when I do Q&As, it's merely just you guys asking questions, me or a friend reading said questions and me answering them. I wish I could do something like Ask Ponies. That would be really nice. And I can't do animations as I don't really know anyone who could help with that. And I don't know how to do it myself, so there's also that. But if I do find someone, you may see very short animations on my channel every so often. But it will be very sporadic.
Meep, 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 meep.
Meep, 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 meep.
Why did you decide to make your Clops exclusive content?
Well, Ethan, if you weren't subscribed to my channel around the time that it happened, or earlier before it happened, I was hit with a community guideline strike, which prevented me from uploading or posting anything for a week. Now, to all of you who have been around for a long time, you know I have read Clops on this channel quite infrequently, but mostly around certain times. It was fine for a while, but then after some time, I guess either someone blew the whistle on me or YouTube finally had a real person look at my videos. And at that point, they flagged a recent video and then started flagging my other videos. At first, it was just crop the thumbnails or take them away because they didn't look appropriate, which I was fine with, but then, yeah, it got to a point where they had to go. Otherwise, I could potentially lose my channel. So I took them down. I took down all Clops except for the troll one, and I am now posting them elsewhere so that you can still see them, but I would prefer it if people over a certain age view them, of course, as they are that kind of content. And I am making them so that they are only for channel members only. So if you would like to become a channel member, the link will be in the description down below. And if you don't want to, then your support by commenting and subscribing to my more safer content is, well, is the happiest thing to me. As long as I can make content that everyone can enjoy, 18 plus or not, I'm very happy.
Can we please have a fanfic that involves Discord's own crazy take on Dr. Sus?
A Discord fanfic with his own take on Dr. Seuss. I have never come across such a reading. If you know one, then please feel free to share it and I'll take a look at it. Well, linked in the description down below, Quentin, is, if you didn't see it, my unspoiler review of the G5 movie. I did like it, and yes, as I said earlier, I do plan to do some G5 readings once I become a bit more confident in almost somewhat accurately mimicking the characters' voices. And once again, I may do it after seeing a bit more of what the G5 series has to offer. I kind of do want to know more. At least more about what this current version of Equestria has to offer. Well, David, as I said earlier, my favorite reading has to be that Troll Pinky Clop reading. But I guess if I had to choose another one, it would have to be Best Hell Ever. It is quite funny, and it's literally Twilight going to hell. If you want to know more, you'll see why. If nothing else, I guess I could say favorites I have are stuff that are written, I guess, with me in it. That's me being objective, as I don't particularly read those for the channel too much. I more read them in private, much more like how I do with my own readings, as I do have some I haven't done an audio for.
Did you say a late happy birthday?
Oh dear, Jack, you posted this like 3 weeks ago at this point. Oh, I wish I said it sooner. Happy late birthday, Jack Cutter.
What are your thoughts on Fallout Equestria and Fallout Equestria Girls?
My thoughts on Fallout Equestria and Fallout Equestria Girls? I admit, I think I've seen passing glimpses of maybe the same or different versions of Fallout Equestria. I don't think I've seen any for Fallout Equestria Girls, and I don't think I can give my thoughts on it because I never read it. Like, at all. Oh dear. Yeah, I should read more things, but I've been so busy, so I've never had a chance to sit down for longer than maybe a day or two when I'm not organizing things to sit down and actually just read things. I feel so bad about that.
Who are the two ponies alongside your LC?
Oh, the two ponies beside me in my intro and outro are two of my other OCs. The darker one is a dark alicorn version of Lotus called Dark Lily. I know it should be the same name, but I decided to go with something different. And the other, who is the alabaster one, is called Midnight Affection, who, and I know it's been a while since I last did this, mostly does ASMR videos. I haven't been able to come up with another ASMR idea for a while, so if anyone has any ASMR ideas, please let me know and I'll start working on it. It has been a long time since I last did one.
What's your favorite fanfic reading and why?
Well, Renegade Knight, as I've answered quite a bit, I do have a couple favorites, but on the why, I guess because of the hilarity if it's a, comedy reading, the thrill and terror if it's a horror, and the overall relatableness if it's a slice of life. I think one I can relate to for a slice of life right now is Empty Words. Not that I've published anything, like with a big publisher or anything, but sometimes I get really anxious, making any of the writings I do on Fanfiction public. I worry about how they'll be received on the site for others, and even if I think it's good, maybe others may not think it. So sometimes I try not to read the comments section or look at the rating, just so that, I don't feel like I put out something inferior. Not that I'm sensitive about it, I just sometimes don't want to look at it in case I'm not having a good day, because then that could make my day worse. And we all don't want to be put in a headspace where we're already down, we get put down more because something that we thought was good, others didn't think that.
What is your least favorite Christmas movie in general, and what is your all-time favorite song?
I don't think I have a least favorite Christmas movie. And, at this point, I don't think I even have a favorite song. At some point, they all just blend together in my head, and the swirling vortex of madness just takes over. And it gets worse and worse and worse until I want to destroy every single speaker around me because it never stops.
Would you work with other writers for more videos? Would you ever think about expanding the Lotus channel? Would you rather be in Gen 4 or Gen 5?
I actually have worked with other writers, Soul. I've worked with Cracked Inkwell on his stories for My Little Girl and Inferno in F minor, and I've worked with other writers who are actually close friends of mine for projects that they're doing. As for expanding my channel, I have done that on the odd occasion with reading small things from Reddit, but that's just about it. And about the new generation, yes, I will expand into that pretty soon in terms of reading and maybe other projects, but only when I get a little more confident in it.
Which MLP character is your favorite to voice? And if you had to choose a Disney sidekick, which would you choose and why?
If I had to pick a Disney sidekick, do you mean for myself or for another character? If I had to pick one for myself, I think I'd go with... Now that I think about this, is kind of a tough question. A really tough question, actually. Well, I do like cats, so maybe I'd go with Raja from Aladdin. Yes, I know he's a giant tiger, but he's adorable and he understands you. Plus, he just looks so fluffy. He wouldn't hurt me. My favorite character to voice has to be Rarity, darling. Can't you tell? Also, Slim Pony, if you'd like to do some narrating for me, that would be really appreciated. I'd love to welcome you to the team. If you want, you can contact me on Discord, either through my server or through direct contact. I will leave my Discord here at the top for open communication should anyone want that open line. Well, guest full of secrets. Well, given how the movie ended, I don't know how to speak to Sprout's redemption going forward with the show. I do feel like in the movie it was a bit cliche and maybe a bit rushed. Though that's probably just me, honestly. Although it is kind of hilarious. He could go down the Starlight route, maybe even the Discord route. Nah, I don't think he'll go down the Discord route. He needs daily affirmations and having his ego boosted a bit, so maybe the Starlight route might be for him, though, without magic. But then again, he also could have his own way of redeeming himself. And, if it happens, I feel like he's probably forgiven for his actions at the end of the movie, but it still kind of hangs over his head a bit. Maybe by Sunny and Hitch mentioning it a couple of times, perhaps. Maybe even Zip, because we know she's kind of the snarky one. Also, as I mentioned earlier, I don't have a favorite Christmas song. Unless you count anything from Nightmare Before Christmas, because that madness keeps me sane. But any other Christmas song spikes my madness to the point where I spiral down the point of no return and have a full breakdown because it's constantly going around in my head and it never stops. It won't stop until finally we hit a new month. But even before we hit December, it already starts playing in November and it gets worse and worse and worse. Sorry for that, Everypony. And lastly, guest full of secrets. I'm a pseudo fan of FNAF. I don't play the games. I have never read the books. I'll watch other people play it. That way, I don't have nightmares at night. Well, Robert, you have quite a few questions, don't you? And all of them are around me doing readings. I've never seen these stories on Fanfiction, and if they're not all on Fanfiction, you can clarify that for me in the comments down below, because there's Fanfiction and then there's Fanfiction, and I don't usually go over to Fanfiction too often, so some could be on there and some could be on other sites, but yeah, like I said, please clarify that. But anyway, I've never seen any of these stories, so I can't give you a full definite answer as to if I will or won't do them. I could take a look at them and perhaps give them a try. But I have such a stacked plate already, it may be a long while before I get to them. But I will try looking them up to see if they're up my alley. I have pretty, well, not high standard, but mid-standard preferences for the readings that I do. Not saying that I'm high maintenance or whatever, I'm just saying there are certain requirements that need to be met in a way for me to do a reading. Or at least tackle it in a decent way. Can't say I'll do them any justice, but I will give it a try. Wow, new storyteller, you also have quite a lot of questions. Well, to start in order, the place in America I visit the most, or like to visit the most, would have to be Tennessee. It's quite beautiful there when you're up in the mountains, and if you wake up at just the right moment and you go stand outside, you get to see a beautiful view of the sun rising over the mountains. And when you go back out at night, you get to see an equally beautiful view of the sun setting. And it just feels so magical. But the sun coming up in the mountains is especially beautiful if there's a fog rolling over the mountains as well. It just doesn't get any better than that. I started voicing ponies from Friendship is Magic about the time I started my channel. I think I was about 3 or 4 seasons deep into the show, so I had to practice a lot before even starting the reading that I would do for the certain character or characters, because I wanted to be as close to perfect as possible. So yeah, it was a bit of a process starting out because it took me about a good while to practice the voice to get it right. And also, back when I was starting my channel, I separated lines from narration because then it would be a lot more editing, but less editing in terms of trying to get the right take. So then, yes, it was a lot more work, but it ensured that I at least had enough time to practice getting the characters right, so that when it came time to do them, I would possibly make less mistakes with the voice. I also had to take a lot of breaks in between voices because jumping between characters every so often really mess with my vocal cords. So sometimes it would take me hours, if not a day or two, to actually do one reading because, come on, going from Rainbow Dash to Pinkie Pie, it really takes a lot out of the vocal cords. I do have a cat. His name is Mittens. He's a fat boy and kind of evil and spoiled rotten, actually, but I love him. I do intend to ask for auditions, but that mostly stays relegated to when February and October rolls around, as I do need plenty of help for those months since I do a lot of readings back to back and I like to be very prepared with that. So getting things out and ready ahead of time really keeps my anxiety levels down so I don't have another Lesson 0 Twilight meltdown. Lego Brum? Who's that? And, what's Tugs? I am not sure. I am really not sure how to answer your fifth question. Oh dear. This is something I've never seen if it's a video or heard of if it's anything else, so I don't really know how to answer that. My TV show changes quite often, actually. Wait, to be honest, I have not watched any new TV shows because nothing has caught my attention. I will admit, back in high school, it was Pretty Little Liars, Make It or Break It, which was a show about competitive gymnastics. As I got older, I swapped over to Teen Wolf, which I still love, actually, and True Blood, actually, as well, which Safi can't stand, but I'm gonna make him watch it anyway. And then, there was also that show Siren, which I wish got another season. It feels like it ended on such a cliffhanger. But sadly, it is no more. But I guess if I had to pick a favorite TV series or a series I like in general right now, even though it's not on TV, I definitely have to go with The Witcher. Season 2 is so awesome, and I so cannot wait for Season 3. And it had a trailer for a spin-off that I kind of can't wait to see too. More Witcher lore. A Christmas present that I'm hoping to get? Well, since Christmas has already passed, I technically got myself all of my own presents as I didn't know what to tell people when they asked, oh, what do you want for Christmas? Since I got so many people things for Christmas. I always tell them, as of now, save it for my birthday if you have a present for me. But a present I was hoping to get, I can't exactly answer. If I had to, it would have to be anything from Safi. And he definitely delivered. As you can see from the picture here, I definitely like the present that he got me. Love you, Safi. And as for music from the show, or My Little Pony in general, I like anything from Friendship is Magic. I admit, I haven't seen any of the previous generations, so I wouldn't know how to compare the music from then to now. Well, real fan, if you've listened this far, please do not get me started on Christmas songs again. I've had to pull myself out of the abyss twice now. Let's not go down that road again. My favorite Christmas movie, as I said earlier, I don't think I have a favorite. The only thing I could say would be a favorite is Nightmare Before Christmas, because that is the only movie that I know that is hotly debated as to whether it is a Halloween or Christmas movie or both. I say both, and you can all fight me on that if you have to. My favorite Christmas foods to eat would have to be... well, I don't know if desserts count, but definitely sweet potato pie. I am definitely a loving sweets expert when it comes to my family's cooking. And my own, because I do bake occasionally, but I didn't for this year because it was such a big thing getting together for this Christmas. Also, I didn't have time to prepare, so there was also that. My favorite thing to do during the holidays is just snuggling up with hot cocoa and a good ebook to read, or watching a movie marathon for Christmas movies. Like I said, I don't have a favorite, aside from Nightmare Before Christmas, but having a movie marathon to watch is actually good. If any of you have seen the channel Freeform, you know they have their 25 Days of Christmas special. So I basically settled down and watch that every single day. Whether it's the same movie that came on 2 days prior or a different movie that somehow slipped my notice, I will definitely be watching every single night. It's a tradition I've had with my mother since I was a child. I don't have any intentions of stopping that. And to be quite honest, I do enjoy the holidays. I do not enjoy the cold. Safi can attest to that. I am so jealous of him. Ugh. He is a freaking walking hot water bottle. And every chance I get, I will snuggle up under him and not leave. I can't retain any heat, so the cold is my natural enemy.
Which of your OCs are your favorite, and could you rank them? And are there any other OCs that we don't know about?
Well, Sanctuary Sanity, you put me in quite a little pickle. I never actually thought to think of which OC is my favorite and how to rank them. But to first answer one of your questions, there are a couple you don't know of. Well, maybe not now, seeing as I released that reading with all of the OC that I have done so far, actually. But I guess to try and answer your question, there's my main Lotus Moon, her Dark Alicorn alternate, Dark Lily, then the more shyer of us, Midnight Affection. After that, there's Moon, who is a normal pony who has a fragment of the pearl from Queen Novo, so she mostly stays in the sea as a sea pony. She likes the more quieter, simpler things in life. There's Umbretta, who comes out around Halloween, who is a shadow pony. There is also Larkspur Foxglove, who... poison pony. That was an interesting story as to how she came to be. And then there's a set of twins named Palamori and Abamori. And if you can't tell by their names, they're more for the relationship aspects in terms of why sugarcoat it? More open relationships and everything. So a bit of R18 in there. In fact, I'm considering writing a story about how they have a swingers club in Canterlot. Let's see how that turns out. There's also a new addition to my OCs called Ocean Shimmer, who came to be after I bought a cutie mark from Wicked Red Art on DeviantArt. And by the cutie mark, she is actually a merpony. I'll eventually probably have art done of her, but I'm not sure as of yet. Now, to rank them from favorite to least, that is a bit hard. I can't exactly rank them, so I'll leave them for you all to rank them. And as for reterming it and saying who's my quote-unquote favorite child, I guess I would have to say it's gotta definitely be Moon. She's quiet, she's elegant. She's basically my version of Rarity, but without the dramatics. So I guess in a sense she's like a combination of Rarity and Fluttershy. Not that she's shy, she's just more reserved. And also Sanctuary Sanity as for my New Year's resolution. Try getting my life in order, as well as other things. Hey, it's only either downhill or uphill from here. Life is a roller coaster, and you gotta ride it as best you can without fearing that the tracks may derail. Thank you, Everypony, for all of your questions. I do hope I answer them to the best of my abilities, and I do hope you stay around for more of my content. I will be releasing some sporadic content this month as I am preparing for February, so that's taking up the most of my attention. I believe I will do a birthday reading for myself when that day rolls around. And aside from that, I do hope you look forward to what I have to release for February. And if you are a channel member, do look forward to at least a clop or two because I'm doing my best to get those out as well. So it's pulling double work this year around. But aside from that, I want to wish you all a very happy new year. I hope you spend it with your friends, family, out partying safely, please. We don't want any accidents or injuries to start off this year. Well, I'm off to get back to my family and our celebrations. Good night, Everypony. Support me on Patreon. Subscribe and make sure to ring that notification bell to know when I post new content. And please, feel free to join the Lotus Garden. Links in the description. Thanks for listening, and look forward to more. Good night, Everypony.